Welcome to Avante Jewelry. I'm Vicki, and in this video we're going to do something a little bit different. Normally in my videos I make jewelry. In 99.9% of my videos I make jewelry, but this is going to be a tutorial on chain and clasp. Clasp with an S on the end. Not so easy to say, at least for me. I'm going to show you several samples of chain that I've collected from my chain stash, if you will, and we're going to go through it. And then later in the video, we'll talk about various types of clasps, to finish off a necklace or a bracelet. And at the very end, I'm going to take my magnet, yes, we're going to do a magnet test, and find out if any of the chains that I've shown you today are silver or gold. So make sure you watch all the way to the end. Let's get started. And we're going to start with this chain right here. This is an oval linked chain, and the chain is flat on the sides. It's also known as a paperclip chain. And we have a few other oval linked chains here. Linked chain is also referred to as cable chain. This oval linked chain is textured on one side and smooth on the other, and it is also a flat chain. To summarize, it's textured, flat, oval link, cable chain. Now, this one's a little bit different. It is oval, and it is linked, and it is cable chain, but it's rounded. There's nothing flat about any of these links. Let's look at a few more here. So what do we have here? It's obviously linked chain. You can call it oval round chain because the sides are round instead of flat. Here's another one, just smaller. It's oval in shape. The chain is round on all sides and it's smooth, not textured. So now we're getting into a different shape. It's not oval anymore. This is Rollo chain. It is round. It's rounded on the outside. Sides are flat, but it is known as Rollo chain, Rollo linked chain. Linked chain also being known as cable chain. And here's just a smaller version of this same chain. It's just smaller. So the takeaway so far is every one of the chains I've shown you so far is linked. Every one is cable, but some are oval. Some are round, some have rounded sides, some have flat sides, and some are round in shape. Flat side though, but it is called Rollo. Let's take a look at the copper tone chain. I'll tell you why I say copper tone and not copper. Both of these chains are copper tone. They are not solid copper. How do I know that? Well, that's how I know that. Yeah, not solid copper because copper would not be magnetic. So this is copper tone or perhaps copper plated. So what do we have here? Well, this one is a combination. It has oval links and it has round links, and the links are flat. So it's flat, oval, linked chain, and some of the round links have texture. So smooth and textured, oval and round linked chain. Now this one's a necklace actually that I put out here, and I just wanted to show you all the different pretty links on this. We have texture for sure. I hope that's showing up in the camera. Texture on all of the links. They're just beautiful. We have round, we have oval, we have round jump rings that are textured. So we have a combination here. So I would describe this as copper tone, textured, round, oval, link chain. And we're going to get into this extension chain in just a minute here. Take a look at this chain and this one, and then we'll get into the gold. So what do we have here? First of all, this chain is from an upper part of a necklace. We have the extension chain, and then we have what's referred to as curb chain. It has a slight curve to it, but it's called curb, C-U-R-B. And this type of chain is more challenging to take apart to upcycle than it is for regular linked cable chain. And then this is actually a necklace. Could be a man's necklace or a woman's necklace. It has a little hook clasp on the end. But this pattern is a little bit different. Part of the pattern is curb chain, but then it has this extra link in between. This particular style of chain is called Figaro, and Figaro isn't a brand name. It's actually a style of chain. It's known as an Italian style of jewelry chain, and it has a distinct pattern of flattened alternating links with 2 or 3 small circular links in between, those circular links being curb chain. Figaro. Sounds like a song, doesn't it? Let's take a look at some of the gold chain that we have here. Let's choose this one, and this one. This is a standard curb chain, and it's quite thick. So again, if you're upcycling jewelry and taking this apart, it can be challenging to open up these links and take that apart. This one here is a little finer. It is a style of curb chain, but it's a lot thinner and lighter in weight. I don't know if you can tell the difference here just on camera. This is a heavier chain, would be great for men's jewelry, and then this one is a little lighter. It's either brass or perhaps it's brass plated, or it could be copper underneath. Let's see. It's not copper underneath. It's plated. And then this one I've worked with before. I love this chain, and this one is really pretty. It's a curb chain, but it's highly textured. It does have some flat surfaces, so it has a lot of reflection. It looks like gold. It's a lightweight, it's absolutely gorgeous. But all 3 of these are curb chains. Let's take a look at this chain. And while we're at it, let's just grab this one too. We're going to take a look at 4 different chains. This is a very, very heavy-duty curb chain. It has a flatness to it. And although like all the others, it's linked chain, this one has a different name tied to it. Put it on the screen here. Typically used in men's jewelry. And this would be very heavy and challenging to open up these links. They might even be soldered, but it would be very hard to take this apart to upcycle. This antique brass chain is also curb chain, and of course it's easy to tell because it says curb chain on it. And this is a heavy chain to take apart as well if you're trying to upcycle it. This one here, have you ever seen this chain? It's very different. This is a box chain. I guess the name fits because it's pretty boxy. Each link is squared off, and it's a little challenging to work with for upcycling. You can see here this has a little jump ring inside one of the boxes. It doesn't lend itself to upcycling very well. It would hold a pendant or make a bracelet, but not so much for charms. And then this chain, I couldn't even find an exact definition of this other than to tell you that like these 2, it's antique brass and the links have texture. So it's antique brass linked chain. I did find one keyword though that went along with it, and that is twisted. It's not because the links themselves are twisted. It's because the pattern itself is twisted. The way the links are linked together, it's twisted. So antique brass textured linked twisted chain. Very challenging to try to take apart and upcycle because I think putting the links back together would be very hard. And of course it's got some other accents here too, but there you go. And this is a different finish, so let's take a quick look at this chain. We have a very heavy black curb chain, and this one, well, it's an anomaly because it has the shape of a curb link, but they're separated by little round links. It has Rolo links in between the curb chain, so very different. I don't remember where I got it from, but I thought I'd include it so you can see how different it is. If you're enjoying this video, give it a like and be sure to comment. And if you haven't done so, please subscribe and keep watching. There's more. If I find any other styles of chain before this video is over, I'll show it to you. But for now, this is what I found. Let's move on to clasps. All different types of clasps to finish a necklace or a bracelet. Let's take a look at the clasps that I pulled together here to show you, and we're going to talk about them, and I'll show you some examples of jewelry using those type of clasps. So keep watching here, and we'll get into that right now. Let's talk about clasp, all types of clasp. At the very top, we have toggle clasp. These are used a lot of times for bracelets, and you just wire in the loop part of the round part of the toggle, and then you have the bar part of the toggle, and this would just slip inside. So toggle clasp, here's an example of a toggle clasp. It has the loop part and the bar, and you just slip it through. And this bracelet allows for 2 options. You don't see that very often where you've got 2 loops that you could put the toggle in, the toggle bar. When it comes to lobster clasp, oh my goodness, there's so many different sizes and finishes. Of course, everything comes in a variety of finishes, but the basic lobster clasp, you can see all the different sizes here that I've pulled out. We'll talk about those in just a second. But this is a basic lobster clasp. Kind of hard to see on the small one. Let's look at the larger one. Always check your lobster clasp before wiring it into a necklace because sometimes they don't function properly. So a variety of colors, shapes, and sizes. Lobster clasps come in all different sizes as I showed you. And typically there's an extension chain. And the extension chain is what type of chain? It's curb chain, C-U-R-B, curb chain. This is a lobster clasp, but a different style. Why is it different? Well, this one swivels, and they're really nice. And that's a gold one, and this is a silver. But love the swivel clasps. They do cost a little more. This is a larger lobster clasp, which is often used for making purse charms or keychains. And here's the lobster clasp on the large size. And what type of chain do we have here? This is a lady's necklace, and this is Cuban curb chain. And this is a hook clasp, and as I said, with a very large lobster clasp. We've got a shepherd's hook. The small hole of this component would be wired into your necklace, and then the hook goes through the larger ring. So this is a shepherd's hook clasp. Here we have a shepherd's hook. And you can see I just wired it in with a small little crimp bead that I flattened. And these are pewter and they have a natural antique finish, although it does darken over time. You could put an extension chain on here as long as you have enough room to get this hook through here. For the most part, I use this clasp if I'm happy with the length and I don't feel any need for an extension chain. You don't have to use the secondary component. You could just link it to a jump ring. And I have assorted jump rings here. You know, they come in a wide variety of sizes, gauge, you know, the thickness of the wire. So a variety, I just pulled out a few. I didn't bring out any gold, but I'm sure you know they make them in gold too. This is a 3-hole component. These come in 2, 3. I've seen them in 5 and 6 components. These can vary quite a bit. I showed this component, but by itself, it's actually not a clasp. It's a 4-strand component, and you would add to it the clasp of your choice. In this case, it's a lobster clasp. And then this is more of a vintage style of clasp. I consider it vintage because we don't see these as often. That is a circle or ring clasp. It's not my favorite type of clasp, but it does help you identify older jewelry because it's not used as much as the lobster clasp these days, and they come in a variety of finishes. I had to get into some of my older jewelry to find this little ring clasp or circle clasp. I find them a little challenging to open when you have it behind your neck. And this also has the curb chain, extension chain on it. Most necklaces do have an extension chain. And this chain is a flat cable chain, flat on the top and bottom and rounded on the sides. This is a fold over clasp. For leather or cord, you'd put your leather in here and just fold this over. Sometimes it's glued in, but it's a fold over. Fold one side in, then the other. I'm trying to get it to show up in the camera. These are pretty small, but they come in all different sizes. This is a necklace that I made many, many years ago, so it's a little bit tarnished. For this necklace, I used those fold-over components. I accidentally referred to it as a clasp, but it's actually just a fold-over component for suede cord. You can see this is flat, not rounded suede cord, and I have a magnet clasp on it. It's so old. I mean, this is probably 20-some years old. Eventually, we'll make one of these in a video, but probably a different clasp. Then the box clasp, which is more of a vintage style, and you just push on the little lever. You have to squeeze down the flat part of the box clasp. A box could be round or square or a rectangle, and then just push that back in, push it in, and it will lock in place. This one is really pretty. It's silver. That's what it looks like. I believe this is a newer one where some of these are actually off of necklaces I've taken apart. This is a box clasp, but with a hook. To open this one up, you squeeze it on the side. So squeeze it on the side, pull it out, turn it sideways, take it out. So you put it back in sideways, turn it lengthwise, squeeze it, and put it back in. It's been so long since I've opened up one of these. I had to go on a hunt for this, but luckily the other day I separated all of my pearl jewelry from everything else. And this is a true vintage box clasp. Isn't that gorgeous? The rhinestones, I think they're all there. And right here's the little press. Slide that out. Snaps back in. But look how tiny this choker is. I know chokers are supposed to be tiny, but my goodness. What is this? On the shortest strand, which is what matters, this is only about 13 inches. Tiny. It's heavy. Every pearl is knotted in between. These are too perfect, I believe, too perfect to be real pearls. They are knotted in between. It has a lot of weight though. And I would think that if they are real pearls, that this would be sterling. But I don't see any. Oh, wait a minute. What's it say here? It just says Japan. Pearls are a whole nother lesson. It's something I need to learn about a little more myself before I can make a video on it. But here's the beautiful box clasp. Vintage box clasp. This is a clasp for 2 strands going each direction. And then this is a very small magnet. And the magnet ones come in all different sizes. This is just an itty bitty one. This bracelet has a magnet and I've added a chain. I just slipped it on the wire before finishing the bracelet. I have the last bead, a piece of chain, and then the crimp bead and a magnet, little safety chain. And I made this so long ago, I couldn't even begin to tell you. In fact, I don't even know if it would fit me anymore. It looks so tiny. This is a Halloween bracelet that I upcycled a year or so ago, and this has a fold-over clasp, just like it says. It has this component, this elongated component that you slip through and then fold it over and it snaps in place. So that's a fold-over clasp. Cute bracelet. I made this October 20th of 24, and it's still for sale. I can't believe no one's claimed this Halloween bracelet yet. So in our eBay store, Avante Avenue, and I'll put a QR code on the screen here that takes you directly to Avante Jewelry. Could be yours. This is different from a standard fold-over clasp because it has a safety feature built in. This one I need to slide to the left, then fold it over and it secures the chain. But basically fold over means it's rectangular shape and folds over. Another oldie but goodie. This one here has one of those barrel clasps that I don't use anymore. You can see I use the twisted tube beads, and this is just wired in with a couple of crimp beads on either side and my twisted tube beads. So quick look at this necklace. My least favorite clasp ever invented. Yeah, these can come loose, but this is a vintage barrel clasp. I always change those out for something newer. I wonder how many necklaces have been lost over the years from these barrel clasps. But it does date the jewelry. You can see this is a vintage necklace. And then as far as hooks go, this is a swivel hook that can also be used for making purse charms. But this one is a necklace. Because of the large rhinestone ring, it has a very large clasp, so different style here. And this is a simple hook clasp on some chain. Nothing too fancy there, but it is another type of hook. And here's a clasp that I almost forgot about. This necklace was made in Japan. It's a 4-strand necklace, 4-strand component. Again, that's not a clasp, it's just a component. But this one has the hook, a little hook, and we have connected beads or beaded chain. And I'm sure you know how this works. You just slip this through and catch the chain. This bead has a little flaw here, but this is very old. It's probably from the 50s or 60s. I'm sure I probably could find more somewhere, maybe in my vintage jewelry that I have, but I just wanted to give you an idea of some of the different clasps that are available. These are all part of the components needed to make necklaces. You know, a lot of these lobster clasps come with this little part that you can wire into the necklace. A lot of lobster clasps come with this. It's not my favorite. I tend to like a nice jump ring for the lobster clasp. I think it makes it easier to put it on when it's at the back of your neck. But here's a variety. And other than the box clasp, the box and the magnets, I've used pretty much everything else in my videos at some time. These here, the toggle clasps that I showed you here, are available in this kit. So if you have any interest for that, just look for my Amazon affiliate link. I'll put it on the screen here. So what do you think? Do I have any silver or gold in this chain that I showed you today? Some of it I've already talked about, but we're going to check it one more time with a magnet and see, because if it's magnetic, it's not silver or gold. But there are a few things that aren't magnetic as well. Magnet test. Not copper, even though it looks like copper. It's antique brass over some type of metal or alloy. Does it say? No, it just says bronze. So I'm saying antique brass, but they're calling it bronze. How about this? Nope, not gold. Not gold, not brass. Not gold or brass either. This one here that I took to the gold and silver shop to get it checked, I believe it's aluminum. And if the base is brass or aluminum, this will not stick. And it's so lightweight, I go with aluminum. Definitely not gold. Nope. Nope. Oh, I would say this is aluminum too because it's very lightweight. One more dish. We've got a few more we can check. Let's do the black. No, it's sticking already. It's not brass underneath. Some type of metal, alloy, whatever combination they've done. Same here, not silver. This is probably steel. It's got a light touch. Do you see that? Very light. It lifts it just a little bit. I don't know if I can show it to you here. It's lifting it just a little. It's reacting just a little. So it is not silver, or if it was sterling silver, it would have no reaction. It's not very heavy. Could be aluminum or steel, but it's probably stainless steel. And stainless steel can still have a slight reaction to a magnet, depending on what they've used with it. And it does have just a slight reaction. So I'm going to go with stainless steel. Definitely not brass underneath or sterling. And this Rollo chain, not sterling. Oops. I think you know by now that there's nothing in here that is sterling at all. But I did find something in my chain when I was going through it. I'll show you. I found this in my stash. It has a fold over clasp, a clasp, it slides on here. And then I started seeing something here. I started seeing some kind of writing. Well, let's first check it. No reaction to the magnet. I get this to show up for you. It says sterling on the clasp. So I believe I have here not just a sterling clasp, but a sterling curb chain. Isn't that cool? With the price of sterling these days. Yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. I don't know if I want to sell my sterling yet, though, that I've been accumulating, or if I want to sell it as it is. But I have myself here a sterling silver curved chain with a fold over safety security clasp because you slip this in and then fold it over. So it was definitely worth going through my stash today to put this video together. Even though I share with you throughout my videos, my jewelry making videos, all types of techniques for finishing jewelry, I just thought it would be helpful to have a portfolio of go-to videos for beginners or just to reference in my videos, to see this technique closer up. Here, watch this video. So I'm going to be building this portfolio throughout 2026. It's long overdue. Almost every jewelry making channel has done it, but I haven't done it. This is the year. So look for those spread out in between my regular jewelry making and upcycling videos. And as you know, my videos are for inspiration. I hope to inspire you to get in your own bead stash, your own findings, and have fun making some of the things that I share with you. That's the plan. I may not always be in the videos. I might just be behind the scenes, but be sure you're subscribed and look out for those in between my regular videos. Thanks for watching. I'm Vicki, and I'll see you in the next video. Unless it's a behind the scenes video.